Alright, everyone, you know what time it is. It's time for PokeThoughts. This is the second one I'm going to make. So, I was just thinking while I couldn't sleep, and kind of sucks that I couldn't sleep, but Treesicle actually made a video that talks about Red, and it's kind of they called it the story that you don't know about Red, or the story you didn't know about Red, or whatever. So, I would like to actually come to the court and talk about a nice little thing, a little spin-off that was kind of inspired by theirs, but on the other hand, they never really touched on it actually. So, today's Pokemon thought is basically the thought of what happened to Red's Espeon. Yes, so for anyone who actually played Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you know that Red actually had an Espeon that was, I think it was level, it wasn't level 88, it was like level 70, or, yeah, it was 65 or something like that. But anyways, yeah, Red had an Espeon, and then when you went against him in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, he got a Lapras. Yeah, he's just straight up. So, I basically came up with two things. There's two thoughts on this. The first one is the normal thought. The normal thought is basically, and the good news is that the real life thought of this is technically parallel to what I'm going to have to explain about it in the game version. So here is the real life version. The real life version is when they redid the game and made the remake, they basically thought to themselves, wait a minute, Red's supposed to only be a Kento trainer. There is no way, shape, or form he actually would know about Espeon. And so, because of that, he shouldn't have an Espeon on his team. And they had to figure out something like, for instance, well, technically, there's another way of putting it too. It's just the fact of he's supposed to be a reflection of what we played as in Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow. So with all of us, we all actually know that with our EVs, what we did is evolved it. We evolved it no matter what. So what they were trying to do is just the fact of having some kind of fun thing where they basically thought, hey, what if the player didn't evolve Eevee? Instead, Eevee evolved when second generation actually worked out. So, and plus, hey, why not allow Red to have a psychic Pokemon? Actually, let me just scratch that and say Red's supposed to be the trainer we had in Pokemon Yellow, not Pokemon Red and Blue. And the cool part, if they eventually do this for the future, is just the fact of they have like some mirror memory where you actually are able to take your old version of your game. So yeah, like for instance, if they make another remake of Fire Red and Leaf Green, and you're able to copy your trainer's data into the next remake of Gold and Silver, then you'll be actually able to battle yourself. Yeah, the trainer that you played previously. So, like for instance, whichever team you actually had in the Hall of Fame, you will battle that team. So that will be something that's kind of cool. And of course, every time you battle the Hall of Fame, then basically that just means that you have many to choose from, I guess. But anyways, so their idea is just the fact of he's a Kento trainer, and because he's a Kento trainer, he wouldn't know anything about Espeon. He wouldn't know about anything of keep your Eevee safe and be friendly with it. No, none of that. So they got rid of it. So that's how they did. They just got rid of it, and for everyone who played Pokemon Yellow, you know that you get a Lapras for free. So that's what he did, is that he trained his Lapras. And besides, Lapras is a good Pokemon to actually have because, well, he needs something to actually. Yeah, just think about this. Just the fact of he's supposed to have beat the Pokemon League, correct? And without a ice type Pokemon or a dragon type Pokemon, there's really no way he could have defeated Lance. No offense. No offense. Not actually saying that, oh, well, his Pikachu sucks. His Pikachu will get taken down. I'm just saying the fact of he will need a Pokemon that actually explains how he defeated the Elite Four. And that's how. Good call. Here we go with what happened in the game. So in the game, it's kind of like present on what two people said. It's just the fact of you had Red, and let me just go with what happens in this whole entire sequence. So basically, Red defeated the whole entire Pokemon League, correct? And as soon as Professor Oak said, well, buddy, guess what? I have a national Pokédex to give you. And as soon as he gives National Pokédex, his Eevee evolves. And his Eevee evolves into a Pokemon he doesn't really know. Or how about, this part. The fact of his Eevee evolved already. And his Eevee evolved into something that he didn't know about. A Pokemon he didn't know. And when he goes to Professor Oak says, well, you did capture all the Pokemon, but I have a brand new national dex. So, yeah. I guess that's basically how it is. And since you have Red having a mental breakdown, the fact that he thought he captured all the Pokemon, he basically gives Professor Oak, either A, he gives Professor Oak the Espeon as a reminder saying, this is the symbolism of your lies. Because you lied to me, and the fact that there are more Pokemon out there, and you didn't even include them whatsoever in the whole idea of, oh, check this out. Yeah, instead you just told him it's 150, but it turns out that it's more than that. And because of that, Red gave him the Espeon saying, here, you take it. This will be a symbol of you lying to me. And because of that, he just picked another Pokemon that was in his box, which was Lapras. Of course, the other thing that you could think Red did is just the fact that Red took the Pokeball with Espeon in it and he threw it. Yeah, you see that icy root, that icy mountain he's in? He threw Espeon. He threw Espeon's Pokeball and abandoned it, leaving it to die. And maybe that's why he's silent, because he secretly did something that he's truly shamed about, but not too shamed about. And that is what happened. And because of that, you reached the last straw. And because, well, think about it. If you went against Red in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, chances are your Pokemon are from Hoenn. They are from Johto. That means even more Pokemon that he doesn't know about. So because of that, he had a freaking mental breakdown. And as soon as you defeat him, he leaves. Of course, lots of people think, oh my gosh, he's a ghost. But think about all the times that Gary just disappeared and just gone off screen and stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah. And maybe he just used a flying type Pokemon? Never mind. Yeah, never mind. He doesn't even have a flying type Pokemon with him. So that would have been cool if they had that idea. But okay, never mind. So with Red, I don't really know exactly what to say. He most likely went around Hoenn. My gosh. Why do I know where I keep on talking about Hoenn? So he ran around Kanto. Maybe he ran around Kanto a lot. Maybe he checked out Johto. Well, one thing we know is just the fact of he most likely got out of the Pokemon game for a while. Maybe he just found a place to meditate, and eventually when he got to the point of getting back up, he heard about this tournament that happens in another region, and they're the best of the best. Because he still believes himself as the Pokemon Master, he goes to Unova either via SS Title or SS Ann, or I don't really know what the boat is for Unova, so yes, I don't know that one. So he chooses one of those boats. One of those boats take him to Unova, and that's when you get to see him again. Is the fact of he builds up and now he actually is going. But one thing that would be cool is that they actually allow him to have Espeon again. So at least instead of him, that dark story I just told you, the fact of he took Espeon and threw it and just said, the hell with it, I hope it dies. He just gave it to Professor Oak, and Professor Oak just held on to it, and eventually Red came around and said, you know what? I'll take my Espeon back. And then so for right now, there's no evidence on Red actually having Espeon. Because as you can see, well, if I do have the footage here, is that he still have Lapras on his team. So, yeah. But hey, he has many Pokemon, chances are, so he most likely have 3 legendary birds and everything. So, well, anyways, that's what I think happened to freaking Espeon. Espeon most likely was either ditched by Red, even though it's kind of like, but he just unditched the freaking Charmander, and he actually got mad and crazy enough and angry enough to actually throw Espeon off that freaking mountain. Or is just the fact of he gave it to Professor Oak, and Professor Oak is taking care of Espeon, and maybe Professor Oak is feeling down and feeling bad about himself because, well, new discovery of Pokemon. And so at least the good news is that most likely Red is like somewhere in a hotel, and Red is most likely trying not to see new. Most likely he might be seeing new Pokemon. He might actually be starting to catch new Pokemon. But for us, we don't really know. I wish they actually did something. I wish they might have actually mirrored Ash. Or at least mirror just the fact of, well, he does have. Well, for right now, if I remember correctly, he has Snorlax, Pikachu, and Lapras with him. So chances are he could actually have shuffled up his team, and he actually now has the Unova starters. Or any starters they choose to put in there. But of course, we know they won't actually stack up Red to have lots and lots of Pokemon he can choose. So chances are he most likely still have the Kanto Pokemon, and that's about it. But anyways, thank you for listening, and this is Pokemon Thoughts. So tell me, what do you guys think? Do you think Espeon was just deleted from the face of the earth, or the fact of Red got pissed off and he gave Espeon away? Maybe not to Professor Oak, but to someone else. So yeah, tell me what you think of this, and I'll just tell you have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.